Tully Blanchard. John, I have to say, you know, Tully's been here not a long time, but he has definitely made a reputation so far. A lot of the managers have been looking at Tully Blanchard.
Well, Tully Blanchard has made a reputation in wrestling. David, he's been Southwest champion, the Central States champion. He's been tag team champions, and I'll tell you what, here's an interesting contrast, because Tully Blanchard, although he has a lot of ring savvy, a lot of wrestling knowledge, he is not have the size or strength of a Stan Hansen or of the Road Warriors or a Bob Orton or Dick Slater. There's Paul Jones.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about the manager. The manager, Paul Jones. Paul Jones is out there.
Got his eye on him.
To help.
I think he's just eyeing up this individual, David. I don't think there's any, at least not yet this far, that there's any communication between the two of Blanchard and Jones as of yet. But Blanchard has done it on his own. He's done it in a different style with his speed, his little tricky and devious little deeds to get the job done. And he sometimes keeps his opponent off guard, off balance, and comes up with a little tricky maneuver that upsets the apple cart and has made himself into a big star, even though he don't possess the strength and size of many of the men.
He uses his brain.
And a few other things called hair and tights and abuse rules.
Well, that's using the brain in a different way. But Tully Blanchard is a strong wrestler, too. There you see, he just picks him up, drops him
David,
across
I'm not saying that he isn't a strong individual. I would say, I'm saying a contrast to a type of a Stan Hansen or the Big Assassins or the Road Warrior. Ooh, there's an interesting individual. I wonder if she is interested.
We've got the best looking wrestling fans too, John.
I don't know if she had her eye on Keith Larson or Tully Blanchard in that ring. They're both good looking young individuals.
John, we've got the best wrestlers, the best wrestling is right here on Worldwide Wrestling, the major leagues of professional
wrestling. See right there, David.
There's the hair.
Tully Blanchard has conceived a way to conveniently keep that hair pulling away from. And when it going gets tough, you find Tully Blanchard on the floor, and there's a few words with Paul Jones.
Blanchard, again, he's smart enough to realize that Keith Larson was going to pick up, was going to take off. He gets out of the ring. That's right,
David. Controlling the match. He had Keith Larson irritated, had him fired up. Keith was ready to fire in on him, and Tully slowed it down, found an opening, and now look who's got the upper hand already.
That's right. Tully Blanchard, he knows what he's doing the whole time he's in there.
Tricky maneuvers. He'd use that head for something besides a hat rack, David, and he quickly turned the tide of battle. No wonder Paul Jones would be out there week after week here interested in the actions of Tully Blanchard. It's got to be impressive to a person like Jones or a devious Gary Hart or someone like that.
Tully just waiting for Keith to try to get back in. Referee Tommy Young tries to block it. Keith now realizes.
All right, now let's see.
Catches Tully right in that midsection.
The attack is opening up. Let's see if Blanchard tries to cool him off again, David. There he's back in a corner.
I don't think he's going to have a chance to.
This is a fiery individual, Keith Larson, with a reputation.
Good backdrop.
Oh, what a backdrop. And Blanchard flashes to the canvas.
Keith picks him up. Hard slam. He just hesitated going down for that pin, John.
Blanchard, a tough individual. It takes a lot to take him out.
They're rolling back and forth. Which one has the advantage?
They release the hold. They're back on their feet.
Knee in the midsection by Blanchard. Blanchard looked like he hurt his leg, though.
He might have got that right in that short rib, David, and that doubled up Keith Larson. Crossbody right by Larson. Oh, almost. Here is Blanchard with that patented maneuver of his, dropping a man across the rope and back in a reverse suplex. And Tully Blanchard pulls out another victory. There you see the winner, Tully Blanchard. And there's a vertical suplex with a little effort off the top strand of rope. Tully Blanchard, our winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Assassins. And I have to say, the Boogeyman Jam, the hair against the mask, something has to happen.
You know, ever since this situation with Jimmy Valiant occurred, there's been a lot of harsh words passed back and forth on both sides. It's all over for words. No more name calling. The only thing that's going to matter is your actions in the ring. You know, and Jimmy Valiant has managed to align himself up with some pretty heavy-duty people. Dusty Rhodes, the Junkyard Dog, just to mention a few. Now, I don't want you or the people in the viewing audience to think that we're afraid, because we don't fear any man alive. But I do wish that our masks weren't at stake, because I know what's in the heart of Jimmy Valiant, and I know how hard this man is going to try to defeat the Assassins and take that mask off. Equally, we're going to be trying just as hard to defeat Jimmy Valiant and to have his head shaved. That, to us, would be the ultimate humiliation, and that's what we're after. Now, I know that Paul Jones, and we owe a great debt of gratitude to this man, and we will do everything humanly possible, never ever to let this man down, because, like I said, we do owe him a great debt of gratitude, and I think the way that we can pay that debt is by defeating Jimmy Valiant and consequently having his head shaved. But we both know, we three know, that it's not going to be an easy task. And I know that Paul has some very choice words to say concerning this situation and the shaving of Jimmy Valiant's head.
Mr. Jones?
Well, Valiant, you're smarter than I thought you were. You throw in a ringer. Well, you can have Dusty Rhodes, you can have Junkyard Dog, or anybody else that you want there. I made a decision when I put up one of these masks to get your hair. Now, I've made a lot of decisions in the past, whether they were wrong or whether they were right. If I made a wrong decision, I made it right. And I have the mental brain to make it a wrong decision right. And when I get one of my men in the ring, I guarantee you one thing, Valiant, I'm going to make it right. And you are going to lose your hair. I hear Flair saying the Assassins better pack their bag. But if I make this decision right, Valiant, you're going to be bald-headed, and everybody is going to call you a bald-headed geek.